Dusty, congratulations.
Thank you.
What were your emotions as I mean, you've talked about how hard it is to get that last out, even if
Yeah.
you're close. You know, we know your history. What were you thinking? What was going through your mind when that last out was made?
Well, Game 6 has been my nemesis in most playoffs, and that's what I was thinking. I mean, you got to get past your nemesis. Like I was afraid of electricity when I was a kid. So now I'm an owner of an energy company. You try to like, get past things, in your life. And, my dad came home and I stuck a screwdriver in the wall socket, and it was all black around. And my dad asked me, like, who did it? And like most kids, I'm like, I don't know. And then he says, go get my belt. And then he goes, maybe this will refresh your memory. I said, oh, yeah, Dad, it's coming back to me. But, that's what was going through, my mind about, I mean, it's a long road. And, when you start in spring training, everybody wants to get to this point. And I've been to this point quite a few times. I was just grateful and thankful. I said a prayer to my dad and to Hank Aaron and, Al Kaline and Joe Morgan and all the, Bob Watson and all my partners that are, in, in heaven. And I thought about, Jimmy Wynn and, everybody that, especially guys that have been in this organization. Some of them didn't get to, to this point. And I felt that, they were with us. And it was hairy for a while. It was 1-0, and then we made it 2-0, and that was a big 3-run homer. And I always tell these guys, if we can win the 7th, 8th, and 9th, if necessary, then most of the time you're going to get back in games or put the game out of reach. And our bullpen did a great job. Young Garcia, who got roughed up the last time, he did a great job. And just, these guys felt that we were going to get to this point. And it's a matter of belief, before it happens. You have to believe it. And, these guys believe it.
Right up front, Brian. Dusty, I saw you embracing your family as you were getting ready to walk off the field. Can you just take us through what those emotions were like?
Well, I had my son and his best friend, Anush, and my wife. And, it's not very often that your kid tells you that he's proud of you. Most times it's us telling them that we're proud of them. And, my emotions were such that, they wanted it, for us, they wanted it for me. And, but, we still got some work to do. And when I look on that board out there every day, there were the X's. I didn't know what that meant out there. I didn't know that meant for the H-Town. I was trying to figure out, somebody couldn't spell. And then, somebody told me what that meant. So now we got, 4 more, to go to complete that. So, it's a beautiful day. It's hard to anybody tell me there's not a God, because it put me in this position to be with these guys here.
Far back on the right, Christy.
Dusty, I know it was pretty quick since it's happened, but can you put into words what it means that you came back last year to have another chance to win a World Series, and now you're really close to that? So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here, and it was at the beginning of this journey. I didn't even have a job, and I interviewed with the Phillies, and they went with Joe Girardi, and then my son told me in his infinite wisdom, he goes, Dad, maybe that job wasn't yours, and this is a better job. I hate that A.J. Hinch lost his job in the manner that he did, but I inherited a good team, much like Sparky Anderson did, inherited the Big Red Machine. But you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort, you have to get to know each individual player, and what motivates them, or sometimes you just leave them alone. And it's a lot of work to get to this point. I mean, when the season started in April, I looked up I have a schedule on my wall, and boy, from we started that, we were way up here in April, and then we came down here to September, and now we're into, October. And I'm asking everybody, what's the date, and what day is it? Because they all kind of run together when you just get up, go to the ballpark, try to win that day, then go back home, get some rest, and come back the next day and try to win. So we got maximum 7 days now, and hopefully it won't take seven games to win, hopefully.
Ken in the middle.
Dusty, congratulations.
Thank you.
You said you inherited a good team, but
Yeah.
a good team with a unique, really unprecedented issue over its head.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it like to see these guys, work
Right.
through that to get back to?
Well,
this
it means a
point?
lot. I mean, I had some things over my head too, and so we had a lot in common. And when you can identify with the people that you're with, no matter what age they are, it's easier, to get along and identify with the struggles that they're going through. And I'm like I said, I feel very, fortunate to have this group of guys and to be in this position to possibly win the World Series.
And on your left, Dusty.
Dusty, with the way this series started and you lose Lance before it starts and then the way you lost games 2 and 3, how easy would it have been for this team to basically buckle under all that?
Yeah, well, it probably would have been easy, but this is not this team. I mean, this team doesn't do anything easy, and this team doesn't make any alibis or excuses. I mean, we lost Jordan last year. Nobody alibi or excuse. Use that as an excuse. We lost Lance. We lost a number of guys throughout the year, and these guys just keep on trucking. You know what I mean? Like Eddie Kendrick used to think about it. And this, like we lost George Springer. I mean, that was a big blow to this team. But some of the young guys really, picked us up. I mean, without those young guys to fill in around the nucleus and the core of this team, there's no way that, we could have won it. And you can tell by the way, we're rotating center fielders, and, you could tell by, young Framber and young Garcia pitched the last couple of days, they grew up before our eyes.
Do 2 more quick ones because Luis is here. Tyler, go ahead.
A couple questions ago, from Ken's question, you said when you came here, they had a lot hanging over them, and I think you said you had stuff hanging over you too. What did you mean by that?
You gotta look it up.
Well, what made you want to take on this challenge then? Because
Well, I love the game.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, I love the game. There's a few things that I still hadn't accomplished. When I was in L.A., they tried to, when I was playing, they tried to say I was doing this and doing that, and then when I got to different jobs, they said that, I heard mostly criticism. You didn't do this, or you're not good at that, or you don't know how to use your bullpen, or you don't like young players. I mean, I heard a whole bunch of stuff, most of it not complimentary. You know what I mean? And as African American, most of the time they don't really say that you are of certain intelligence. That's not something that we usually get. And so I've been hearing a lot of this stuff most of my life. So that's what I meant by, I had some stuff hanging over my head. And probably still, before I die, I had some more stuff hanging on my head. So it doesn't matter. It depends on how I feel about myself, how they feel about me, and how the Lord feels about me. And like I tell these guys, you don't have anything to prove or show anybody, and only entities that you have to satisfy are God, family, and yourself, and then the other people can see you later.
We'll finish up quickly in the first row.
Dusty, you talk about momentum swings and changes in game. How big was strike 'em out, throw 'em out?
Whew, that was huge, because there were people that were wondering why Maldy was playing, hitting 075, and he directs these young guys. You see how he directed them through the game, and that was huge. If he couldn't throw, and he's safe, I mean, who knows what could have happened? That was an inning ender, inning-ending play, you know, by Malty. And, you know, defense is so important, especially up the middle. And, you know, your catcher's my field general. He's invaluable, you know, to what they bring, you know, to the table.